Hey YouTubers, he's back and it's another pickup video. Today's going to be more of a case of quality over quantity. It's quite a small amount of pickups to show you guys. Mostly because they're more expensive than other ones. And to be honest, I spent my entire gaming budget on one game I did this month. So, but I've got other bits to show as well. As always, I like to start off with final of the month, so let's no further delay, let's do that. So I've got the music from the season 1 and 2 of Stranger Things. It's a nice double LP, I suppose, and it opens up and it's got art and stuff and photos from the TV series. There is music from season 3 and 4 out there, which I will get at some point, but this was reduced to a good price, to about £22, so I picked it up. Yeah, it looks a bit deceptive. When you look at it, you think that's only for season 1, but it's actually for the first 2 seasons of Music 4, so there isn't one for season 2 because it's all on this one. And hopefully, season 5 will come out next year. That's all hoping, because I've seen some footage of it on YouTube, so looks alright, although the characters and actors are aging so rapidly. It's hard to believe they're supposed to be about 16, 17 when in reality they're about 10 years older than that, at least, and more. But it is what it is. There's trouble with these big productions. They take a long time to produce and get released and stuff, but it is what it is. Whether or not they'll use more de-aging, probably, but who knows. Okay, non-gaming bits. Well, I sort of gaming related. One pop figure I got for £4 from Amazon. It is for Tiny Tina from the Tiny Tina Wonderlands game, which is it's a Borderlands spin-off game. It works in the same mechanics, although it's got more of a Dungeons and Dragons type theme. Really good game actually. It doesn't take too long to play compared to the other ones. And for £4, I thought I'd have that pop. Even though I don't have anywhere to put it, but it is one of those, it's one of those things. Another thing that I got, which I saw, was a vintage toy, and this is a toy I had, my brothers had, and I played with back in the 70s, so it's about 45 years old, and basically it's this. This is what you call Prop Shots toy. That's in Propeller. Prop Shots toy by Mark's Toys, which is an American company. We had cousins from America, so whether or not they brought it over and gave it to us, that's how we got it, or somehow we saw it, I don't know. But it was one of my favourite toys growing up, because it's really cool. Basically, you just put your plane on there, you pull the string cord, the propeller goes at high speed, it takes off and it goes like a rocket. It, quite a fair distance, quite a fair height. Because it's quite light, what would happen often, it'll get stuck up trees, and maybe that's what happened to ours, and that's why it got discarded. I don't know. Another tempting thing is to aim these at people, aim these at your mates. It's got a rubber tip and everything else, so it won't cause major injury, but it may sting a little bit. Another thing that I remember always playing at is that this always looked like the Star Trek phaser gun, doesn't it? Really. And so when we was kids, if you want to play, pretend you got a gun, that's another thing for it. But this toy is first class. You can actually buy new ones still in a box from the States for about, I think it's about £30 to £40, but then you've got to pay another £20 shipping. But I wasn't going to pay that sort of money for this. I've managed to get one in this country for about £16 shipping, so that's not bad, especially for a toy, and it does still work. I did try it once, only once, because I don't want to risk breaking it, because it is, like I said, very old plastic, but it is something I loved as a kid, and it's a really fun toy. And I think if you gave it up to kids today, I think a lot of them will still love it. But whether or not, because of the fact that you can aim it at kids and stuff, that's another reason why it wasn't sold. Was there any lawsuits? I don't know. Maybe, probably. Who knows? Alright, two other things I picked up which were quite expensive, but these are things that I can pay in the future because I managed to get it on interest-free credit with Currys. So when you know, after this interest period, I'll just pay it up for my wages, and that's fine. Two things. One, which I got just over 4 weeks ago, is the old PlayStation Portal for a PS5. Reason why I got this is that I'm finding that my daughter is hogging the telly downstairs a lot, and if she's watching something on Netflix on a BT box, then that frees up PS5 for me to actually do a bit of gaming via that. And what's good about that, obviously with PS5 you can also play your PS4 games, which is what I've been doing a lot of. Fantastic screen. The only fault would be, and I think it was a deliberate, well, I say it's two faults. One was there's no Bluetooth connection, and I think the reason why there's no Bluetooth connection is that a lot of gaming headphones and stuff are wireless anyway, wireless LAN, because of this you don't get the, it's slightly less what they call it, delay, I suppose. And so, you know, they have released some dedicated headphones for it as well, which I got as well. These nice little earbuds, which are, you know, come in a snazzy case, quite comfy. There is actually a is it 40th or is it a 50th? No, it's 40, isn't it? PlayStation Celebration anniversary type version of this coming out in November, which it looks really beautiful actually, but it'll probably be really difficult to get hold of, and I don't need it. I like to get a controller at least. There's two consoles. There's for digital, which you can add, you know, the a dedicated disc drive to, as well as for Pro PS5, which will be a complete waste of money even though it doesn't look nice. Which obviously you can add a disc drive to on top of, but you know, they're already stupidly expensive. PlayStation 5, unless you get, even if you get into pre-orders and buy it for retail, you are looking at probably, you know, £900 probably by the time you spend for disc drive as well as the PS5 Pro and everything else. I'm not wasting that much sort of money on it. I'll just get myself a anniversary PS5 controller, and that'll do me, I think. And there's two controllers. There's the Pro one and the standard one. Well, the standard one will do me because I'm not paying C money for a Pro one because it's got features I never use. Yeah. So that's one of the things I got, and I highly recommend it. Really good screen. The other thing that is not so good about it, again, which is not Sony's fault, is that even though you can connect to everything on your PS5, any other streaming services do not, you know, you're not able to pick up on that. Not because of technology, but because of licensing and the fact that Sony, you know, Netflix and people wouldn't allow Sony to do it on their device. Whether or not it's because of the fact that, you know, you could in theory take that device and watch stuff to your PS5 in other countries, and whether or not it's an issue around that, I think it's a bit lame issue if it is. I don't know. Who knows? But basically you can't do that. Not that you would want to do that much, because if you think about it, there's dozens of other ways of doing that if you wanted to. Via your smartphone or iPad, but that's one of the things anyway. Okay, one of the other things I had ordered as well is because I've got all the Legend of Zelda consoles and you know, with the themed ones and the handhelds, so I had to get this. Was the Hyrule Nintendo Switch Lite that came out this month. All gold. It's got the sort of a Zelda emblem with a Triforce at the top there. I think it's pretty lazy in terms of decoration, because I've done that so many times already with other handhelds, like the you know, the flip up Game Boy SP or whatever else, with the Zelda one, very similar art style. I would have preferred some sort of more original art on there, really, you know, Perhaps with actually Princess Zelda herself on it and things. But it is what it is. And, you know, I don't need to get it out of the box because I've got other ones. I've got one already, a Pokemon one, which I can use. As well as my other Switches, so yeah. Okay. That's all the accessories. And again, that was, you know, it carries free interest for, you know, for at least 6 months. So again, I don't need to worry about paying that for until then. Okay. New topic. Game related. PS2. Now, you said, Nick, you finished collecting for PS2, we thought. You're right, and if you can look behind me, I do have a bit of a large PS2 collection, so it is, you know, it's my largest collection, I would say, even though the PS4 was catching up. It's definitely my largest collection, and I'm really proud of it. But if I was to ask you guys, what are the most sought after PS2 games? What are the top 3 most sought after? You could probably, I would imagine you'll think of these 3, I would have thought. More so because they're horror related. And these aren't the most valuable games or the rarest games either. You'd probably be thinking of Michigan Report from Hell, which is one I've had for years. I haven't picked this up recently, I'm just saying. This is the English copy. That's a really good game. Again, it's a UK port of a Japanese game whereby you basically you play a reporter and the world's gone to shit, and there's like, I think it's like some sort of virus or something, and people are turning and stuff. So there's that. And then one of the most sought after horror games on the system, which is actually quite good as well, is Kuon. This is for English and European version. So it's got English Union Jack at the top, but it's got all the other European countries on the bottom. I believe there is one that is solely English with none of the European bits on at top. Not that it matters because it all plays in English anyway, and you know it's you still got English manual and everything else really. So I think that one goes for megabucks, but this one still goes for megabucks too. So yeah. And the last most famous one, and I say famous in terms of infamy as well, is the Rule of Rose. Again, I got this about 12 years ago. I paid about £85 for this. This is the copy that was released by 505 Games in Europe, and it is the Italian copy. 505 are based in Milan, I believe, in Italy. And so they got a license to release it across Europe, and they released copies in Germany, France, Italy and Spain, I believe. The game also got released in Japan and America. Again, not huge numbers. The game was planned to be brought out in the UK, but there was some newspaper misinformation suggesting that there was like schoolgirl, I don't know, torture and bondage or something along those lines. And so it got a lot of bad publicity. 505 Games cancelled the release in the UK, although I've been told by, this is going back to Eddie Rollercore, he may have had a copy years ago, or he said we had a conversation about this and he's seen one. There were some review copies that got over to UK which were extremely expensive, extremely rare, and I never actually saw an original review copy, I must add. So I just got this Italian copy, 12 years ago, which I paid about between £80 and £100 for, which was still a fair bit of money at the time. But I think, I think even the review copies, even if you saw them, were going for £700 back then. But obviously, there's recent news, isn't there? I think there's been a few UK copies, being drip fed onto a market. And there's rumours going on, they're fake or whatever else and stuff, but that's bullshit. And more recent, in the past a couple of months at least, or 2 months or 3 months, there's definitely a Italian game store in literally about 30 miles from 505 Games has got a large supply of these, and I think they've probably sold a few box cases. Box case, I've seen a picture. It's about 15 games in each box case, so they've got a few other resellers have got those and been selling them on. the price of this game, the UK, was as high as £595 in CEX, and I think the European one was about £495. Since there's been more of these games coming onto market, the price has dropped to about £495, and it's currently £450 for UK. And with the European, I think it's gone down to, from £495 to £395 and £350, I think it is, something like that. Still a fair bit of money. It's all the same. To buy a UK copy on eBay, you can pay anything between £320 and reasonably, I would say, £400. That's the average price, unless you go for a stupid reseller's price, which can be you know thousands, especially in a plastic case or graded or whatever else. And the question is, are these well? I've seen a few videos of people opening them, and they're definitely genuine. And you can't fake a PS2 game because it doesn't. You would have to have a modded PS2 player to play it on, or at least a MacBook thing and stuff like that. So you can't fake a PS2 game that will play itself on a machine. You can't just burn a copy. So and the manuals, people have opened. It's all it's all got telltale marks of being genuine. It's all looks original. There's a bit of a bend or something in the corner of the manual, which is something that probably happened as the game was being packaged and stuff like that. And so I was thinking for a long time, this one is Italian. It really bugged me. I was kind of regret thinking, it's a shame that I haven't got a UK copy because the other games are UK, and it'd be nice to have a UK copy, but I'm not paying a stupid amount of money for it. But then it got me thinking that with the supply of these games out now, I could get one for £320, and I'm thinking, should I spend, it's just over my entire gaming budget for a good month. Should I do that? And I'm thinking, if I don't, I'll probably end up regretting it. Because it's a good opportunity. And some people are saying, oh, well, the price of a game's going to crash. I don't think so. As we know, value of things is based on supply and demand. Even though the supply of this game has increased, it's not massively increased. There's not tens of thousands of copies out there, and the demand is massive because of the infamous reputation about it. Some people thought it was banned in the UK. That is technically false. 505 just didn't decide to release it because they knew they wouldn't get people to buy it, so there's no point in spending that money. Because they didn't release it, ones that they had produced, by the sounds of it, they did have put into storage, but they wouldn't have done a reprint of that, because why would they when they couldn't sell the originals? So there's only one print of the UK copy out there, and the question is, how many games are there out there roughly? And if you think about it, it came out in 2006, which is like a last year or two of PS2 really, just before PS3 came out. So there wouldn't have been much, interest for PS2 games, especially with an obscure Japanese game, really, with girls and stuff like that. So I doubt it would have sold particularly well, even if it had been released without the infamous news and everything, really. So I think I would just, and you can easily get European copies for years anyway, even though they're still, kept on value. So I wouldn't be surprised if, there's only between, I would estimate there's probably we're probably not far off 1,000 figure for UK copies. I would have guessed that. I would imagine, because you think about the limited releases with Switches and PS5s now and PS4 games and stuff now, it's usually the 1,000 to 2,000 mark tops, and that's for that's all across Europe sometimes. So for UK release, I doubt they would have manufactured more than 1,000 games. Obviously, they would have manufactured some for the European markets, again, taking on board of that. But you just say they did 1,000 for each region. Let's say that they did that. Across the regions, USA, Japan, UK, Italy, Spain, Germany and France. That's a maximum of 7,000 copies. And 5,000 copies of those are foreign language. Japanese and European. Even though The European copy, it's only on the packaging. It plays perfectly in English, the game does. So it's perfectly playable. The copy I've got is in fantastic condition. It is open, but I can keep it in a copy like this. And so, I decided to bite the bullet, and I'm thinking, this game is already much cheaper to buy on eBay than it is in CEX. I do not think it's going to fall. It's not going to crash because of a demand for it. I think everyone who collects PS2 seriously, and especially horror games, want this game in their collection. And so for that reason, I don't think the price will fall much. I think it will stay as it is for a while and slowly creep back up as those stocks and supplies on eBay dry up, which it will do, because there are some collectors out there, I bet you, who have got more money and are buying multiple copies as like a kind of an investment. I bet they're doing it. I bet they are. Technically, I've got 2 copies because I've got the European one, the Italian one, and now I've got the UK one. So I've got 2 copies. This one's sealed. I'm not going to open it. I'm going to keep it sealed just because because like everyone, a lot of people out there, when you're a mad collector, you'll be mad to open it, especially when I got one I can open it and play. I've got this game on my modded PS2 anyway, on the hard drive on that. So I've got multiple ways of playing this game. So if I wanted to, I could always sell this at some point with a European copy. I'm not desperate hurry to do that, but I know if I did sell it, I'm not going to lose any money on this. And I won't lose money on that, whatever happens. If nothing else, it's a reliable investment, and it's not going to go down in value. I really don't think it's going to go down in value. I'll be shocked and surprised, given the story behind this game in particular. I think everyone wants Rule of Rose. There are more games much rarer, and there's games a lot more valuable, more expensive, by all means. Some of the obscure Phoenix games, very expensive. I've got a rare game called Wacky Zoo GP, which is a crappy Mario Kart rip-off, and I've got a UK copy of that, which is extremely rare. I don't think it goes for stupid amounts of money, probably a few hundred, but still it is much rarer than these. And so there are much rarer games out there on the PS2 and much more valuable games on the PS2, but the games that people want, if you collect for PS2, I would say it would be this Holy Trinity. There's other good games as well, like Ibarra, the shooter. Again, it's a game for shooters, people who like shooters too on the PS2, and it's a Japanese exclusive. Yeah. So, am I mad to own 2 copies of Rule of Rose, one to play and one to keep? I think we all kind of a bit crazy. But at the end of the day, I've spent my entire month's gaming budget on that one game, and I think I can justify it because of all the reasons I've said. I am a big PS2 collector. An opportunity to own a UK Rule of Rose, it's a cherry on the cake, isn't it? And I would have regretted it, I think, if I did not do that. Especially if it goes back up to a £600 price mark in about 5 years' time. I'll be thinking, I could have had one of those. So it's a bit of FOMO, yes, but also the fact I am a serious PS2 collector. So if I feel I could justify it on that grounds as well. For all these games I've got here, I think it'll always be a bit of a disappointment saying, oh, you got Rule of Rose, but you haven't got the UK one. But I can now say I have, and I've got a European, Italian copy to play. So there we go. Okay. So guys, what do you think of the Rule of Rose? If you had, would you be tempted? Are you tempted? Are you planning to get one? Or do you think it's going to crash to about £100 and less? Everyone's got opinion. As Tootie always says, everyone's, opinions are arseholes, everyone's got one. So so if you want to have a chat in down below with us, you're more than welcome to. I love your opinion as well. Always love your support. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Take care. Until next time. Bye.